What up, Gophers fans? It's time to start the breakdowns. We're breaking down a position group every week, and we're breaking down an opponent every week. Today, we're kicking it off with the quarterbacks. You know you love your quarterbacks. What up, Gopher fans? You're listening to the Gopher Broke podcast here, wherever you get your podcasts, I guess. I don't know where you're listening, but we're on YouTube. We are on Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever you get podcasts. You can find us at the Gopher Broke podcast. We're talking Gophers once a week, every week. It's the off season. There might be a little bit of bend in here, a little break in there, sometimes with the scheduling and the timing of the podcast. But we're going to get you them shows, and now we're kicking it off, like I said, with the position breakdowns and the opponent breakdowns. And that'll get us almost to training camp. So hopefully you're tapped in. If you have any random questions along the way, as always, feel free to drop a comment over on YouTube or DM myself or Tristyn, and we will try to get those questions incorporated as well. We like to have fun with it here. And like we always start, Tristyn Spann-Ford, I got to know what your gripe is this week.
Honestly, this is a pretty fresh one. And it's not going to pertain to anyone, and nobody's going to feel it except for me, is that I bet on the Knicks tonight, and they did not win. So that one kind of hurt because I
don't feel bad for you at all.
I was so confident. I almost sent you a screenshot of the bet slip just so you knew where my loyalties were.
I would have told you I'd disown you. I would have told you. The podcast is over. My boy is betting on the Knicks, even though we looked like we were down and out. The Celtics pull out the dub. R.I.P. JT.
Some are saying the Celtics are better without Jason Tatum.
Nah, man, get that crap out of here. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
If they win a championship without Jason Tatum, that's going to be so funny.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. The man dropped 42 points with 8 rebounds, and everybody's ready to pour salt on it in his wound. They're ready to fucking...
It's in a loss.
I mean, they did, but it was not due to Jason Tatum. It was due to many other players not hitting shots. My other boy being in foul trouble the whole game. Look, you could get me going on a rant right now. You could get me going crazy. I'm already mourning the loss of our superstar for over a year now. Don't get me going, Tris. Don't get me going.
After the last show, I think I asked you, like, it was a couple weeks ago, and I asked if you were worried about the Cavaliers. And you were like, nah, not worried. You overlooked the Knicks.
No. Hold up. Should I have been worried about the Cavaliers? Where are the Cavaliers?
You should not have been worried about the Cavs. You actually should have been more worried about the Pacers.
I should have been more worried about the Knicks is what I should have been more worried about.
That's all right. I'm happy we're still on a collision course for the finals. It could be Timberwolves, Celtics. Me and you, we got to go courtside. You'll buy the tickets because you're a famous podcaster. So
okay. Here's the thing. I am always a realist, and I cannot fully say, no matter how much belief I have in my team, I cannot fully say we are on a collision course right now, and that is not me talking crap about the Wolves, sadly. So give me another game. If they win in New York, maybe I'll be back on board. I'll be ready to go for it. But right now, I think they won for JT, and I don't know how much more you will do winning for JT, or if it's just kind of cooked after that. We'll find out.
It's going to be hilarious, and I'll find a spin zone either way. Either way.
Either way, if my team gets knocked out, I will be rooting for the Wolves to get their first championship ever. So I can't lose unless both teams lose. Then all of a sudden, I'm gonna be sad. Yeah. I'm gonna be real sad.
Then it's just paying off.
But enough about the NBA basketball. Although it is my favorite time of year in the playoff season, we're going to talk some Gophers football. We're going to talk quarterbacks. We're going to talk about the first 2 opponents for the Golden Gophers because, look, I'm not trying to be rude, but nobody's trying to listen to extra talk about Buffalo or Northwestern State. So we figured might as well just shove them both together, and then we can get to the power conference schools as we continue down the road. So after today's episode, it'll only be 1 opponent, but today we put 2 just because, there's not a whole lot to talk about.
It's very accurate. I mean, it's tough, but it's fair. Not that those games aren't important because, again, that will shift everything if we drop one of those.
All right, I got our Chat GPT Gophers question of the week. And Tristyn, I think you're going to have some fun with this one, especially because you told me you're watching The Last of Us. I mean, I am too. It's a great show. I know you're still catching up. You don't like TV shows. We don't have to rehash it. Go back and listen to the podcast if you need to hear that one. But the question is, which Gopher football player would be the most likely to survive a zombie apocalypse and why? And I'm going to put the caveat, you can't use any of the players that just graduated or went to the NFL. So you can't use Dragan Kesic, who would have been my go-to in this one. You can't use any of the guys that have left the roster. It's got to be people moving forward.
So my immediate thought was speed. But now that I'm thinking about it, is Devin Eastern the guy? I don't think he's huge. First of all, I've never seen a zombie that big, except, well, I guess there are some big ones in Last of Us, but not that many of them. And he's going to be stronger than most of them. He's got the length to hold them off, at least a little bit. But again, speed is an issue. That getting away might be a problem. But I'd go with Devin Eastern. He's going to be bigger. He's going to fight off a bunch. He's the guy who's probably going to fight off the horde and unfortunately die, but saving a bunch of people. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I'm sitting here. I'm in my thoughts. I'm like, what would my answer be? I don't know. I'm trying to think like really strategically here. And here's what I've got. I'm going with Coy Parrish. He's from Esco, Minnesota. You know, Esco, middle of nowhere.
No,
like,
they got
you
guns
gotta
up
know
there.
you gotta know some resources. They probably got guns out there. You probably got fishing so you can get some meat when times is tough. I mean, you got probably some hunting background. You got he does it all in the field, so he probably does it all off the field as well. I feel like he would be very resourceful. The only thing I would worry about in this circumstance is that like Coy knows I'm him. And he's like, I can handle it. I can take it. And then he gets himself in over his head. And then all of a sudden we're talking Coy the zombie instead of the Coy wonder. So that gives me a little risk, but that's where I'm going.
Yeah, I can see how overconfidence might be a flaw in that specific situation.
Absolutely. If you have other thoughts, drop them in the comments over on YouTube, but we're going to dive into our quarterback talks. So we're going to talk about a few different things. We're going to talk about the current state of the room, some predictions that we have for this group, any sleepers or breakouts to note, and then also we're going to talk about other players in the Big Ten that we're either excited, curious to see quarterback-wise, or people that were like, we need to look out for them. And then finally, I'm going to throw out my top 10 quarterbacks for the Big Ten for this 2025 season, and that is how they finish the season, not heading into the season, how I think they will finish in the top 10. So we're going to get into all that, kicking it off first with the current state of the room. And I'm going to leave this to you, Tristyn. Tell me what your thoughts are on the current state of this quarterback room.
Okay, my immediately thoughts are we got 4 guys in the room, okay? And we've got 1 collegiate pass thrown.
We got 5.
Wait,
we got 5.
Whoa. Okay, that's what we should start with. Let's list who we got. We got Drake Lindsey.
That's fine. Yep. We got Drake Lindsey,
Dylan
QB1. Dylan Wicke. Max Shikanjansky.
Boom. Emmett Moorhead.
Jackson Collick.
That's who I don't have. Jackson Collick.
Emmett Moorhead. Yep. Those are the 5.
Okay. How many collegiate passes has Jackson Collick thrown?
I'm going to go ahead and say 0.
Okay, so we got a total of 1 pass thrown in this room of 5 guys, is what it seems like. So there's not a lot of tape to go off of. But I'm super confident in Drake Lindsey's size. I love that. That's what I kind of was looking at. I was trying to watch some high school. Dylan Wicke showed a lot of. I mean, in apparently he went to this high school. What? Right? Yeah, he went to this.
No, he did go to a huge high school, but I've heard this from so many Gophers fans, man, that are like, Dylan Wicke went to, I think it was Buford or something. He went to Buford, like Buford has stars. And I'm like, bro, Dylan Wicke didn't start till his senior year, and he threw for 940 yards in his senior year.
That's what I was about
miss
to
me
get
with
to.
the Buford, miss me with the.
And plus, again, if he's going to this stud high school, I don't want to downplay him. Maybe he is a stud. We just don't have the tape yet. But I don't want to downplay it at all. But you're playing with a lot of studs as well. So you got all the best you got all the best players on your team as well. And it can make a quarterback look very good when you have the 3 best wide receivers also.
True.
But it's still hopeful. I mean, that's awesome. That's still good. I mean, he definitely played well. Still you know. But again, I would say Drake Lindsey's size is the most promising thing when that sticks out to me. His size, and then also Emmett Morehead is also 6'5", 225 is what he's listed. I don't know what it is at now, but big dudes, big arms, like it's exciting. That was
No,
my
I'm with you.
takeaways as far as there's not a lot of stats.
I'm with you. I'm with you because Max Chickenjansky, 0 passes thrown.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Witke, 0 passes thrown.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson Collick, 0 passes thrown. That's 3 of our 5. Drake Lindsey, 5 passes thrown.
Okay.
4 for 5. Put some respect on his name. 80% completion.
Never thrown
with
a pick.
touchdown.
Never thrown
with
a
a
pick.
touchdown.
Love that.
Look it. If he can keep that completion percentage up, it's Gophers to the moon.
He's on pace to be a Hall of Fame Gopher. So
on pace to crush it. And then you've got Emmett Morehead, who played 3 years at Boston College. He played a little bit in his freshman year, then all of a sudden he got on the field in his sophomore year. They thought he was going to be the starter, and then he ends up basically getting replaced by Thomas Castellanos, who eventually, after playing 2 years, ends up transferring, and now he's going to be at Florida State. So everybody's transferring, everybody's leaving. Emmett Morehead, here's my problem with him. He's not a real threat to be a quarterback one for us, I think, because he hasn't even learned the playbook. He hasn't practiced one snap with this team yet because he just joined after the spring portal. So that's a lot of catching up to do in a short amount of time, especially for someone who, yes, you've seen some time, but you haven't seen a lot of time. So I think he's more so vying for just having some depth in this quarterback room, probably QB2, if he can pick that playbook up fast enough. If he can't, I don't even know if you can put him at QB2. So, I mean, that's a little bit worrying, but he has good size, like you said. Jackson Collick, probably going to redshirt year one, I would guess. Yeah. I mean, in the spring ball, he was an early enrollee freshman. He was here in spring ball, but you didn't get to see too many team reps with him because they were mainly working with Lindsey, Max, and Dylan Witke. And so I imagine if that's what it was looking like. I mean, last year we saw Drake Lindsey taking QB2 snaps in early enrollee spring session. So I think that kind of tells you the difference in where those two quarterbacks were coming in. So I think Collick has a lot of upside, but he's a guy that probably isn't going to be on the field this season. So then that brings you into Max Chickenjansky, Dylan Witke. I just told you my thoughts on Dylan. Like, look, might be an athlete, might be a dude, like athletically, but I'm not there. In fact, I'm so not there that tying into predictions, even though I'll still talk about Drake Lindsey here in a second, tying into predictions, I think if something happens, if I don't want to even put the words out there, I'm not going to speak that into existence. If anything happens where a QB2 has to take snaps, I would not be shocked if it's Max Chickenjansky. After seeing him this spring and everything like that, I mean, good on him. He's come a long way. He's got a weird kind of release, a weird throwing motion, but he was putting the ball in some great spots in spring. So it wouldn't be the first time PJ's played a walk-on quarterback if the need came. So I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, I my biggest thing was Lindsey is going to be good. I think my take is he's going to be good. The only thing that's going to get to him, or not get to him, but is going to be important, is the pressure of being in the situation. Like, I think he's going to have the ability to throw the ball. I think he's going to have the playbook down. I think he's going to make the right checks. I think it's going to 100% be based on, once you're under the lights in front of 50,000 people, how you're going to react to that when things go wrong, how you're going to react when things go right. That's going to be the biggest thing for him.
No, that's a great point. I mean, are you cool under pressure, or when the lights get bright, is that where everything goes out the window and it's like, where's my guy? Oh, I'm looking this way. Oh, I'm running. I like deer in the headlights. Which way is it going? Now, I have a lot of hope with Drake Lindsey. I've been very vocal about that here. I mean, like, first of all, we told y'all back in January, he's QB1. Like, they're not wasting their time investing so much into him, having him handcuffed to Max Brosmer every second of the season last year. Eat, sleep, drink, sweat, cry, whatever you do it next to Max Brosmer. You don't spend all of that time prepping that just to be like, oh yeah, and then we're going to bring in somebody else to do it. Like, the way that this offense works, the way that you have to be able to make reads pre-snap, post-snap, and all of that, they have been grooming Drake Lindsey for this moment and for that opportunity to take it moving forward. And if he picked up even 75% of stuff from Max Brosmer, if he can get that mental side of the game to his skill set, he could be dangerous because he's got the bigger arm, he's got the bigger size, he's got a great skill set with him. So if you can add the mental aspect to it, look, Drake Lindsay to the moon.
I 100% agree. I honestly, I was kind of thinking about it when I was just kind of looking over the room. This is going to sound stupid, but I kind of hope he throws a pick very early. Just get it out the way, you know what, and keep throwing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once like a quarterback who's not scared to throw a pick is a good quarterback to me. Like, don't worry about it, flush it. If you can have that mental part of it, like, I think you can be the moon is the limit.
I totally understand what you're saying. I hope he doesn't though, because I know the Gopher fan base, and I
Oh,
know the second something bad happens, they'll be like, "See, we suck. We should have got a quarterback. We don't do this. We should have invested. We never do this." And they were ready to do that with Max. They
they're
were
gonna
ready to do that with Max at UNC. He didn't even throw an interception, but he didn't throw a touchdown. Everybody's like, "Oh, I'm not sure he's that good." And then all of a sudden he starts to stack up, and people are like, "Oh, he's really good."
they're
But
gonna
it's
do
like
that
if he
anyway.
throws,
They're gonna do that
yeah,
anyways. Like
you're not wrong.
we Gopher fans forget what this program was like before PJ got here, as if it
Oh
didn't
yeah.
happen. Now they have this
Mm.
expectation, which is good. I mean, that's a sign of a good fan base to have that expectation. But no, come on now, what are we doing here? These guys are allowed to have off days.
Right. Right. You can't even breathe the wrong way, and people are like, "Get him out.
Yeah,
Get him out. Get gone."
we're coming off of back to like we have a standard of national champions.
Yeah.
We gotta let these guys breathe. Let these guys breathe.
If Bama can give Kalen DeBoer some leeway, and after going 9-4, I think that we can breathe a little bit, knowing we haven't even been to a natty since pre World War II, like something like that. So
Don't panic.
we
We
can
gotta not panic.
we can breathe a little bit there. But all right, so with that, I do think Drake Lindsay's the QB1. Any predictions that you have for this group? I mentioned my biggest one is if a quarterback two has to take a snap this year, I think it's going to be Max Chickenjansky. I think a lot of people might be like, dude, you're crazy. Dylan Witke. I mean, they put Dylan Witke in the game last year and did not run a pass play. I think that kind of speaks to where he was at then. And also, I think we started to see Max Chickenjansky take more reps in the team periods even this spring. So I think unless Emmett Moorhead absolutely blows things away in this fall camp, I think Max Chickenjansky could be QB2 heading into the year.
My hottest take is I would say, and this is again strictly based off Drake Lindsay's size. If he has any correlation with his strength, I think he's going to be the most athletic quarterback we've seen in a long time. Like, as far as he's going to make deep passes, I don't know what his mobility is like, but he's a big dude. Like, I can't imagine that he's scared to put his shoulder down. Like, at 6'5", like, put your shoulder down into somebody. Let's run the ball. So I think he's going to be athletic. That's going to be my prediction.
Absolutely. No, one thing I will throw out there too, my guy Daniel House, love all the work he does, love all the things he talks about. He's one of my favorite people to talk about football with, to learn things too. Like dude's just out of this world
Yeah, I
smart.
listen to the show
He
all the time.
he talked to me. Yeah, he
Yeah.
talked to me and he said Drake Lindsay's elite trait is anticipation. And that goes step in step with what the Gophers need and want at the quarterback position, what we saw with Max Brosmer, but also it goes step for step with an interview I did with Drake Lindsay on Locked On when I was over there. And I was asking him what he was working on going into his senior year, because he committed between junior and senior year. He had big numbers in his junior year. And I was like, what are you working on going into your senior year? And he's like, I want to get the ball out quicker, but I want to be able to throw with anticipation and lead them into their routes. I want to be able to see them into the open spots rather than throwing it after I've seen it when it's too late. And that's what his push for senior year was. And he went on to have his best season of the year. And that was something that he did at an elite level. We've seen glimpses of it in the spring. We've seen glimpses of it throughout practices last year. If that carries over and it continues to build as he gets experience, he could be nasty.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Like, even just to have that mind state at such a young age is like, hey, I have this skill, but I need to get better at it this early that speaks volumes about even his mentality going into the season.
All right. Well, it's kind of hard with this room because only one player really plays, but any sleepers or breakouts that you have for this group at all?
Ah, man, Dylan Wicke sees the field. Maybe he's moving. He's a
Get him
mobile
in the
guy.
old Seth Green
Yeah,
packages.
exactly. I think also, I got a soft spot for a black quarterback. Just want to keep him in the room. Keep him in the room. There's some flavor in the room.
Hey man, ain't nothing wrong with that. Uh, I think, yeah, overall, I mean, I hope Drake Lindsay breaks out. I think I've been seeing some rankings drop on Twitter of people saying what the best quarterback rooms are, who's the best starting quarterback in Big Ten, all this stuff. And we're consistently at like 16, 17, or 18. And I'm like, look, I get it. You don't know much about the team. You've never seen the guy play. But also, why are we assuming that like Singleton, who's played maybe 10 snaps at Arkansas and ends up, or I don't even know, maybe he was at Vanderbilt. He's somewhere. It's not like he was a full time starter or anything like that. Why does he get a benefit of the doubt? But
He
a
don't got
true
an M on his
freshman
helmet.
that was a Gatorade Player of the Year in his state, that had 90 touchdowns to 7 interceptions in his high school career, that had almost 70% completion percentage, that is assumed as he's probably not good. But we could look at some dude who had 15 snaps at another school and left. Oh yeah, he's gonna be nice.
He don't got an
Like,
M
what
on
are
his
we
helmet.
doing?
He don't got an M on his helmet. That's what it
It's crazy.
unfortunately comes back to. It's tough, but
It's crazy.
I saw that too. But I mean, I know we're gonna get into a little bit, but I'm looking at like even like the list of quarterbacks in the Big Ten. There are so many new names that I don't
Oh
even
yeah.
know how you make that list. And I know guys are just making the list just for the clicks and stuff, but I mean, there's a ton of new names. I was looking through and I'm like, is there like 3 returning quarterbacks to a school like that played there last year? It's nuts.
Yeah, you've got Aller back with
Yep.
Penn State, you've got Altmaier back with Illinois, you've got Rayola back with Nebraska, new quarterback in UCLA. Jaden Mayava was there with USC for the last couple games, but basically new. That Damon Williams kind of new, Bryce Underwood kind of new, Julian Sayin kind of new, Dante Moore kind of new. I mean, he was there with the program, but he hasn't started yet with them. Fernando Mendoza transferring from Cal. I mean, like there's so many new
It's all
quarterbacks,
new.
either
Yeah.
new to the program or first time starters. So it's like to use that as an excuse for Drake Lindsay to say, "Oh, this quarterback room is horrible." Like, bro, what we got? 15 of the 18 teams got new
Yeah.
quarterbacks of some capacity. Like,
That's what every list I looked at, that's what I was noticing. I'm like, all these guys are new. Like, what are we basing this off of? Like, I don't know.
just
And
crazy.
there is that Minnesota bias, which I get it. I get it. But it's tough. It's tough out here.
Look, I am more than confident to say that Drake Lindsay will not be 16, 17, 18. I don't even think he'll be 15 in the conference. I think he will be above
Nope.
the top 15 in the conference. And I feel pretty confident in that just based on what I've seen him do over the last year and a half from springs and fall camps and what have you.
No, I mean, honestly, he's in a good spot. I mean, no expectations is where I would want to be at. I'm like, I'd rather come in here, show and prove with, and prove everyone wrong, make everyone, excited that I'm good when you thought I was going to be mid rather than the latter.
Right, right. No, I feel you. All right. So before I get into my top 10, are there any players in the Big Ten that you're excited to see on the quarterback front or that maybe you fear on the quarterback front? Like, man, I really don't want to play against so and so because look, that dude's nice. Anything like that?
Oh, I mean, Dylan Raiola is going to keep me up at night. That's probably, no, I'm playing. I actually don't, there's not a lot of returning quarterbacks. Not, definitely that I'm worried about. I am super excited to see what happens with Nico at UCLA. Like, just because of all the offseason drama. And I mean, I wouldn't say he was the best. He didn't have the best season last year by far, but he's a good quarterback and he's got the skills for it. So I'm just interested to see what happens. It's going to be chaos either way. He could be a stud and people are going to be like, see, look what happened. Or he's going to be garbage and people are going to be like, see, look what happened. So that's just going to be fun college football drama regardless.
Right. No, I feel you. Also, if he doesn't have a nickname yet, they have to start calling him Slender Man because that dude is so skinny.
Right.
He looks like Chet Holmgren on a
Right.
football field.
Like, imagine having, like, now he's got to play Penn State. Like, a Penn State D line you don't want to see that.
I feel you. I feel you. As far as quarterbacks that I'm excited to see, I guess I'll get into that excited ones when I get into my top 10 because I'm sure some of these you're going to be like, I, we're going to need Tristyn's commentary as we go through my top 10 because I think he's going to be like, bro, pass me whatever you got, because you want something over
See,
here.
some of them, I mean, I will have comments, but some of them I don't even know. I don't even know a lot
Yeah,
of
that's
these
fair.
guys. I
That's
mean,
fair.
you know, that's the issue with these lists are like there's just this position. Like it's crazy how many new faces are in new places.
The one thing I will say, I don't fear him, but there's two quarterbacks that the Gophers play this year that I'm curious to see if they can put it together, because one of them is Dylan Raiola
Oh,
because of the upside he has, but he also can be a turnover machine. So like if you get that Dylan Raiola, like look, sorry Nebraska, here's another loss. But if he is actually clicking and like working into the ability that people thought he was going to be, being the number one, number two quarterback in the country in his recruiting class, that's where you could be like, damn, like this dude just makes it happen. I think of when I watched JJ McCarthy, and Vikings fans will be happy to hear this now,
okay.
but before people would probably have been like, oh, JJ wasn't good in college. When he came to Minnesota, he came to Dinkytown, and he just picked us apart. And like he didn't have to. Like they could just run the ball and all this stuff. But every time he made a play, I was like, dude, this dude just gets it. He sees the field. He's putting the ball in perfect places. He's running at the right times. Like he just was a smart football mind. And I think Rayola can be that. I'm just hoping it's not by the time Minnesota plays him.
I regardless of he could throw 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns on us, and I will still just not be in. He is
Is it because he does all the
absolutely
Patrick Mahomes
yes,
copycat stuff?
yes, 100%. Like he's so into the bit. Like I can't not see it.
It's wild. It is
It's
wild.
crazy. Like I don't
You
get
got
it.
to practice on now. Like people are trolling my boy JT saying he can't do anything original. I do not hear y'all over here with Dylan Raiola as loud as you need to be when I hear it from JT. That's all I got to say on that front. I'm not going to
JT,
keep going with it.
the issue is that he's a super like he's a nice guy. That's the issue. He has no there's no quality about his here we go talking NBA again. But there's no quality about his personality about like he's a good dad, good you know, he seems like a very nice human being. So it's too easy to pick the rest of him apart. We got to find something you don't like about him. Like you can't just be like, "Oh, he can't shoot threes though." Like you can't call him Russell Westbrook. Like we have to you have to find something because he seems like very likable.
What a horrible thing. He's such a good dad and such a good person that we just got to, he's good at commercials. He's making money. We got to tear him apart somehow. He sucks. He's overrated.
It's an all-star trophy tattooed on it. Like that's crazy work.
All right, the other quarterback that I'm interested to see how they do is Mark Gronowski, Iowa quarterback. I'll dive into him in a little bit, but let's get into the top 10. I want to know your thoughts as we go. So I'm going to break down my top five, and then I want you to just throw whatever you got at me. So first off, I've got Penn State's quarterback Drew Aller as number one. Of course, he's got the most production over the last couple of years. He was in the playoff last year, won playoff games. Like he's got the big arm. He has the potential to be like a Josh Allen, people would say, and stuff like that. So it's hard not to put him at the top of this. Plus, he's got both of his stud running backs back. He's still got good tight ends in that room. He's still got transfer wide receivers that are ready to pop off. So he's in a good spot. Number two, Dylan Raiola. I got him at number two. He was seventh. He was seventh in yards in the Big Ten last year overall, and only two of the people that were in front of him are back next year. So technically, he has the third most production passing yards wise. And when he got with his new offensive coordinator in the back half of the year, that's where he was seeing some of his best production. So if he has the full year with him, I think he can finish as a top three, top five quarterback in the Big Ten. I know you got comments. Hold them
I
on.
will say,
I'll get to five.
I will say, I will say, the beginning of the season last year, he was playing really well. That's the thing. But as soon as he doesn't play well, the whole Patrick Mahomes shtick is just emphasized, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that was an issue because he fell off a cliff last year. But he
I got you.
played really well in the beginning of the year. I will say that.
And remember, this is how I think they'll finish the end of the year too. So,
Oh,
like,
okay,
I
okay.
think that production wise, like not heading into the year, I don't have him as number two, but I think by the end of the year, he could be the second best quarterback total wise. Now, number three, I was kind of torn, and I'm actually going to flip the answers I had. So I did have my number who will be four at number three, but I'm going to switch it. I'm going number three, Julian Sayin from Ohio State. Ohio State likes to throw the ball. Ohio State's got Ryan Day, and Ohio State has a wide receiver that literally reminds me of Julio Jones or Megatron or whoever you want to throw out there. If Jeremiah Smith is on on the field and healthy, all you got to do is throw it in his vicinity, and he's getting yards and touchdowns and all that. So that means Julian Sand is going to be very productive, will be a top 5 quarterback. So I've got him at number 3. Number 4, I've got Luke Altmaier with Illinois. And again, one of the quarterbacks that's coming back to the Big Ten. He was a baller, especially in the red zone last year, where he had 22 passing touchdowns, and that was 5th in the Big Ten Conference. And then he was 9th in total yards in the Big Ten Conference. And again, a lot of those names ahead of him are no longer in the Big Ten. And then wrapping up my top 5 here. This one's people are gonna call me wild for this, but I look forward to looking back on it. I'm going with DeMond Williams Jr. out of Washington. I am going with a redshirt freshman, and this will probably surprise a lot of people, but this dude is a stud, and the only flaw, Tristyn's gonna rip me apart for this. The only flaw is this dude is 5'11".
What?
He is not a huge quarterback.
How are you
He is
over the line?
He's like Kyler, bro. He's short, he's athletic, he's fast. But he is such an athlete that Washington kept mixing him in with Will Rogers, who was a huge production quarterback they got from the transfer portal last year. And they kept putting DeMond Williams in. He ended up having 944 yards passing last year, 8 touchdowns throwing the ball, and 1 interception on 78% completion rate as a true freshman. So I think coming into this redshirt freshman year, having the experience, having been on some Big Ten fields and not blink, not flinch, he had 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. I think this dude's going to be special.
It is impressive. It's unfortunate that they have to recruit such short offensive linemen, though, for him to be able to be productive. So I don't know. I just don't know how that works. Could you imagine him? Imagine him playing behind our offensive line. What was it, like 3 years ago? Like that thing is just ping off of Daniel Falalele's helmet every time.
Even this year, I think Marcellus Marshall is 6'5", Dylan Ray is 6'5", 6'6". I think Ashton Beers is like 6'3", 6'4" at the center position. And then the left tackle, if you got Ty-Fi, he's like 6'5", 6'6". If you got Nathan Roy, I think he's 6'4", 6'5".
Imagine
this is some big dudes.
Devin Easton meeting him in the backfield. Like that guy liable to that might be the end of him.
Bro, he's fast, though. They called Kyler Mighty Mouse for a reason. I think this dude could be Mighty Mouse Jr. over here. I think DeMond Williams is going to be nice. So my top 5, Drew Aller, Dylan Raiola, Luke Altmaier, Julian Sand, and DeMond Williams. Which one's the craziest one to you? What are you feeling? Am I as Stephen A. would say, stay off the weed?
I think I would probably flip-flop Raiola and Drew Aller. But I like Drew Aller.
Raiola 1?
No, not Drew Aller. Luke Altmaier. I'm sorry. Luke Altmaier and Raiola, because I like Luke Altmaier actually. I think I also just have a immense respect for the Illinois program. I just like Bielema and what they do over there. Like they always compete, like no matter who they're playing, even with us. Like it feels like there's always back and forth. So I think he's going to be really good. Especially this is his what? He's got to be in 4th year, 3rd year
for Altmaier.
Yeah.
This is his 3rd year with the Illinois program. He was at Ole Miss prior to that.
And they've been, they've been really competitive. I think I would just flip flop those two. But other than that, and the 5'11" quarterback is just that's crazy. I hope he's good. That'll be great. That'd be fun. Nobody's gonna draft him because he's probably got.
I look forward to clipping this at the end of the year and being like, look, I said this on May 14th. And remember. Or we're going to clip it and say Kane said this on May 14th and he's the 18th quarterback in the conference. So
both will be funny. Both will be funny.
Yeah. You're true. All right. So we're going to move to 6 through 10. Again, this is going to be the top 10, but I did do 3 honorable mentions. So number 6, we've got Nico Iamaleava. I think I said it right. Iamaleava, one of the two. UCLA.
It's Amaliva.
Amalivia is what his last name is. But lots of talent. I think he bails off of his reads really quick, and knowing the Big Ten defenses can be pretty nasty. And that Josh Heupel, who was at Tennessee, the coach there, was supposed to be kind of like a quarterback whisperer. If he had some struggles here and there, and now you got Deshaun Foster, who's never been a coordinator and has 1 year of head coaching under his belt now, I'd be a little nervous about it. So I could see him being lower than this, but I do think he's talented, so I put him at 6. 7, I've got Dante Moore over at Oregon. Now, he's set up to thrive. He's at Oregon. They've got talent. They've got dudes. They're going to be one of the best teams in the country. We've seen Bo Nix crush it out there. We've seen Justin Herbert crush it out there. We've seen Dylan Gabriel crush it out there. So, I mean, like, you would assume Dante Moore should probably be up in the top 5.
It seems like a system thing out there. It really,
Right.
They're well
But the biggest thing for me is that he was the starter at UCLA as a true freshman, and I cannot get over how terrible he was at reading the field. So it's like, unless Dan Lanning really makes it easy for him, or he is just dramatically improved, I don't know if I see him finishing in the top 5, even with all that talent around him. I think they could end up either protecting themselves from him a little bit and like making the plays a little bit easier and more run after catch or running the ball, or maybe he gets replaced. I mean, it's not like Oregon can't find another stud quarterback, or they probably have one in the wings that's like a 4-star freshman or something like that that nobody knows about. So if he can't hold it together, I could see the leash being short.
I was just going to say, like, it does help that he's going to be surrounded by dudes. Like, you know that there's going to be guys out there. So that makes a big difference as well.
For sure. So then 8, I've got Bryce Underwood, true freshman at Michigan. Now, this might feel high, but he was the number 1 recruit in the nation for a reason. And you're talking about a Michigan team that finished with an Ohio State win, that finished with an Alabama win, and they did that with nothing at quarterback. Now, you tell me that they have the number 1 talented kid in the nation. And I'm not saying just number 1 quarterback, like 50th overall. I'm saying the number 1 player, number 1 quarterback, number 1 player, number 1 state, everything. That's who they got coming in at quarterback. He's like 6'5". He's athletic. People say he could be like Jaden Daniels. People say he could be like not as fast Lamar. I'm like, if that's coming in to this Michigan program, that's what they were missing, he could be nasty.
Yeah, Michigan with a mobile quarterback like that actually might be crazy dangerous. That'll be exciting to see.
And then my final
not as fast Lamar is also a great way to describe a quarterback. I love that.
Yeah, right.
It's every quarterback is just not as fast as Lamar.
You ain't wrong. Nobody's as fast. Nobody. All right, and then my last 2 to round out the top 10, I've got Iowa's Mark Gronowski. He's just a talented dude. He's coming from the FCS, so will it translate? But look, I saw it translate firsthand with Max Brosmer, so I'm not going to be the one that's like, oh, he's coming from the FCS. And also, we always talked about how Max Brosmer was the second in the Walter Payton Award that was like the FCS Heisman and like all this and praising that. Well, the guy who beat him was Mark Gronowski. Oh. So I got to give him some love. I got to give him some respect. We'll see if Iowa's offensive coordinator, if he can be the one to break the mold and finally do something with a quarterback or not. But I've got him at number 9. And then number 10, I've got Jaden Mayava at USC. Lincoln Riley makes it happen with quarterbacks. I could do this dude higher, but I think that he could lose his job to the 5-star freshman if he struggles at all during the year. And you bring in a 5-star freshman who they flipped from Texas A&M. The fans might call for that freshman if you do anything wrong. So that's why I had to leave him lower on this list.
Yeah, I was actually wondering if you were going to get to it because I was like, you can't leave off Lincoln Riley. Any Lincoln Riley quarterback has shot at being great. So that's why I was waiting for it. I was like, no way he's going to leave this off the list.
I was tempted to, but that's just because I think he really could be replaced by that freshman, just like Spencer Rattler, who goes on to be all-time over at South Carolina. But Caleb Williams got in because Spencer Rattler struggled a little bit. All of a sudden, everybody wants the young kid, and he balls out. So I'm like, I could see that happening again here, where Mayava, he has some talent, he does some things, but he struggles, he throws a pick, he fumbles, whatever, and people are like, we want the 5-star. Bring us the freshman.
I can see it. I can see it.
All right, so that's my top 10. And the 3 honorable mentions, I've got Fernando Mendoza, who would be my 11. He is with Indiana. Because as Kurt Signetti says, Google me. I think he's going to be better than Rourke last year, which means that he'll probably be really close to the top 10. I've got Drake Lindsey at number 12. That's where I've got him in my QB rankings to finish this next year. I think it's realistic. And I've got Ethan Kaliakmanis as number 13 on my list. Ethan Kaliakmanis showed a lot of improvements with Rutgers last year, and now he's got another year in that system with Kirk Shirako, who's the guy he wanted to play for when he came to Minnesota. So I think he could really thrive in that offense again. I don't believe in Aiden Childs at Michigan State. He didn't show me enough last year. I don't believe in all the hype that people want to give Billy Edwards over at Wisconsin, because I watched Billy Edwards play here in Minnesota in Dinkytown, and I watched them just absolutely choke. And he looked awful. And I hope he does it again this year in the final week of the regular
That's
season.
fine.
So that's my top 10 for the quarterbacks. Anything crazy? Anybody you thought was going to be in there that wasn't?
No, I mean, not really. That's, again, there's a lot of new names and new faces, and you know that you dive in a lot deeper than I have. So I just go off of vibes alone that I've seen clips of. So I agree.
No,
I agree. No
you're
discrepancy.
good. There's going to be some hard ones in this for me when we get to tight ends or offensive line, where I'm like, okay, well, we might just be pulling stuff out of a hat here, but we'll see what happens.
That's mostly
But
what I
we'll-
do anyways.
Yes, I feel it. But I love you for it. That's what makes this great.
What I can do.
All right, we're going to wrap this up with some schedule talk. Again, we're talking the first and the second opponents of the Gopher schedule, because I'm going to lead with the second opponent on the Gopher schedule because I don't have much to say, Tristyn. All I have to say is that the Gophers better beat that team into oblivion, and here's why. I don't think you looked this up. I don't think you're ready for this. The Northwestern State Demons last year, 2024, 0-12. 0-12.
Oh, no.
There's no excuse.
Oh, no.
Minnesota better kill them.
Oh, I'll be so sad.
0-12 in the FCS. Like, they're an FCS school
I'm circling
that
that.
went 0-12.
I'm circling that on the calendar. That seems like a game that. Oh, no. That's the thing.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's it. I will say this: if we lose to them, if we lose to them,
It won't happen.
hammer every other game on that schedule, money line
Doesn't matter.
because that's how it will be. Ohio State and Michigan, and lose to that one, and that's why we didn't make the playoffs. So
No, I'm ready to say some crazy stuff. Like, it will not happen. I promise you, it will not happen. I was going to say, like, I'll eat a jar of mayonnaise or something like that, but I don't want to do that.
we don't want to go down.
But
the
I know
road
I
yet.
won't have to. I know I won't have to. All right, but let's get to the Gophers' first opponent. That's the one we can actually talk a little bit about. That's the Buffalo Bulls. They are in the MAC, so they are a G5 opponent. This will be the first game of the Gophers season. It'll be at home, which is nice. But this isn't a team to sleep on. It's a good game to start the year, but this is a team that went 9-4 last year. So this is a team that has some upside. What are your thoughts when it comes to the Buffalo Bulls?
I mean, it's so we got them so early in the year that it's always going to be nerve-wracking, but I still am very confident in it. Like, as far as talent goes, like, you would hope that we have more talent than them, but, you know, by the sounds of it, they're well coached. I can't say I watched a lot of Buffalo games last year, but, I mean, the record shows that they were competitive, so it's definitely early enough in the year where I could see a world where we're not quite ready for the competition, the speed of the game, like younger cats, but I think we got a lot of veterans also who will step up and be like, okay, we can't sleep on this game because this really sets the tempo for the rest of the season.
For sure. No, I feel you. I agree 100%. Buffalo played one power conference school last year in Missouri, and they lost 38-0. So that gives me a little bit of
That
we'd be all right.
feels good.
We'll be all right.
Feels good.
But you remember Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame last year. I think they were the only regular season or one of two regular season teams to beat Notre Dame. The next week, so after beating Notre Dame, Northern Illinois played Buffalo and lost to Buffalo in overtime.
I actually remember that because I think I bet on Buffalo because that's a letdown spot. That was a hard letdown spot. I'm pretty sure me and my father-in-law literally said during the Notre Dame game, we're just going to hammer whoever Northern Illinois plays that next week.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yep.
No, I love it. Their losses last year, when they did lose, they were pretty bad. There was only one close loss to Western Michigan, 48-41. Otherwise, like I said, Missouri 38-0, UConn they lost 47-3, and Ohio they lost 47-16. So like when they lose, they are getting absolutely dominated.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think Minnesota should be able to hold their own in that game. I'm not too worried about it. I haven't looked into too much of players that have coming back, but honestly, just don't beat Bowling Green. Like, we'll
Yeah,
just beat them.
let's
Just beat 'em. Like,
yeah, let's just not even. Don't worry about it. Go in there, do your job, and let's move on to some conference play.
yes, I agree 1000%. So those first two games should be dubs. Don't sleep on Buffalo. Don't
Yep.
overlook them. But it's game one, so it's
Yep.
hard to overlook someone in game one. Game two, easy to overlook someone. Game one, bro, you're trying to set the tone for the season. So I feel like
Yeah.
that helps us in that front. Like they're not someone we'll overlook like a Bowling Green because it's the game one kicking off the season. I believe the Gophers play on Thursday again to kick off the season. So I think that that one will be all right. We'll be definitely all right with Northwestern State 0-12 in the FCS. My God, that is bad. But other than that, we'll see what happens in game three. We'll talk about that game next week when we dive into our running backs preview, and then we're going to dive into the California Golden Bears. You know, this matchup looked a little more tough heading into the spring, and then California lost a ton of players to the transfer portal. So we'll talk about a little bit of that next time. But any final vibes for the people before we wrap this one up?
It's currently almost halftime this Timberwolves game. Just go T
Yep.
Wolves. Let's just go T Wolves. Let's just win. Let's win confidently and go on to these conference finals or Western Conference finals.
Yeah, dude, back to back, first time ever. Let's make that happen. I am watching this. I'm going to be tapped in here tonight, cheering for the Wolves. The final question I've got from you from our friends over at ChatGPT: if every Gopher player had to wear a costume instead of uniforms, what would the theme of the costumes be? And you get to pick.
Ooh, the theme of the costume, so they all kind of coordinate together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's fun. That's fun. Oof, oof. I don't know why my brain went to Ninja Turtles right away, but that is, I don't know why. That's just my kids, I think. But there's got to be something because I was thinking costumes. Superheroes too easy. Hmm. Ooh, that's tough. Ooh, that is tough. Okay. I'm gonna stick with Ninja Turtles. I think it's Ninja
All right.
Turtles. Everyone gets different
All right.
colors. There's some maroon ones, some gold ones. That's fun.
Okay, okay, I feel it. I feel it. Mine is going to be, and it's just because I'm tapped into the show so hard. Last of Us. I'm going. They're going to be zombies. They all could have different looks for their zombies. They could have different, but they all get to feature it some way somehow, and that'll be the costumes that they would have to rock.
I like that.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here at the Go for Broke podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get the podcast. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube. Be sure to let us know how you're feeling. And be sure to tap in each and every week. Next week, we'll talk about running backs. We'll talk about the California Golden Bears. We'll see you then. Roll the boat, Sky Imago Gophers, as always. And please don't forget to hit subscribe.